Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, February 18th, and I'm your host, Kristen McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. Starting on Monday, February 28th, masks will be considered completely optional in the Norwood public school system. In response to updated mask mandate guidelines by the governor, the school committee voted to give students, staff, and faculty the option whether or not to wear the mask on school grounds. School committee member David Hiltz elaborates on the decision.
Cities and towns have the final authority on mask mandates within the town, and then obviously within the schools, that purview lies within the school committee. So for this particular decision, obviously a very, very difficult one, mask optional, which is really important, so that does not mean that we are getting rid of them. We are moving to an option where you can wear one if you so choose, and if you feel comfortable and don't want to wear one, you don't not have to wear one anymore. Obviously, because of federal money as it relates to transportation with buses, still do need to wear them on the buses. So the presentation last night, obviously we continued to work very, very closely with the Board of Health and their staff. We tried our best to make a decision based off of the data that we saw and based on obviously the past 18 months to 2 years, patterns with ebbs and flows and those spikes. So sort of bringing it back to the 28th, a lot that we took into account.
Superintendent Dave Thompson reflects on this decision and what it means for the community.
So the school committee voted last night to adopt the newer face covering policy. It basically does not require masks to be worn as of Monday the 28th of February. We are using the terminology, we're going mask optional. We are still going to encourage masking. There are still requirements, will still be requirements for masking, particularly riding the buses, because that is considered public transportation and falls under federal jurisdiction. Also, we'll need to have students and staff wear masks in the nurse's office, the health suites. And the other thing is if someone's tested positive and coming back from quarantine, that masking requirement from the CDC still applies. But so we will not be requiring masks, we'll be encouraging masks. And the other thing is we are using the term mask optional because we do not want anyone who is wearing a mask having to answer questions or being made fun of or anything along that line. There probably are personal choices around that, and we should be respectful of that and not put people in a bad position by asking. It's just what they choose to do and go with it, folks. So that's where we're at, and that's where we're picking up.
NHS Senior Class President Grace DeLeo shared this message of support for the new policy.
But I was like, finally, I'm gonna have a normal senior year. Prom's gonna be amazing. Senior week's gonna be amazing. But we just need to keep going, and soon it'll just be like, hopefully that life will be as it was.
Masks are still required on school property until Monday the 28th. Segal Reese's last day as Norwood Health Director is Friday. While the town is very sad to see her go, Town Manager Tony Mazzucco officially announced her successor at this week's Board of Selectmen meeting.
With the town, we are devastated, of course, that she's moving on to a better opportunity. However, there is always a flower that breaks through the snow, so to speak, this time of year. Kathy Bishop, Chair of the Board of Health, and I met with the internal candidate that we had for the Board of Health Health Director position. And I'm pleased to announce that earlier today, the Board of Health voted to appoint Stacey Lane as our next Health Director. So we are very happy about that. We're going to miss Segal, but we're happy that we'll have Stacey keeping the ship steady. She's a longtime resident and town employee, and she'll do a fantastic job. So we are happy to have her.
Ms. Lane has been a member of the Health Department for many years, and her knowledge has incredible value. She is honored and is ready to get to work.
I may be new to this position, but I'm not new to the department. I first started out as the public health nurse. I was the public health nurse for approximately 15 years, and then I became the assistant director of the health department. I think it's a great opportunity. I have a great staff, a very supportive board, supportive town manager. So I'm very excited to continue all the great things that Segal Reese, our previous director, has done, and I want to continue all the great things that she did. I just want to say I'm very thankful. I want to thank Segal for all her years. She was a great partner, great friend, and we are all going to miss her. But she has done so much for public health and so much for this community, and I don't want to say I have big shoes to fill because my feet are bigger than hers, but I want to continue doing what she started, and I'm very proud of her, and I hope that I can kind of live up to what she has done for the community.
Congratulations on your new position, Stacy. We know you'll work very hard for the town of Norwood. Stay tuned after this break to learn more about the recent dam deconstruction project and a local drive at the library. Welcome back. The Mill Pond Dam located at Peswick's Park on Sumner Street has been demolished. This has been an ongoing project for the Neponset River Watershed Association and the Norwood Conservation Commission. Conservation Planner Holly Jones explains the process of getting to this point.
I am so excited to be at the dam removal here at Peswick Park. This dam was on Trap Hole Brook. Mill Pond was behind it, and over the years has sort of gradually silted up. The goal of this project is to take that sort of silted up wetland and restore the original stream that supports trout, supports other cold water fish here in Norwood. We have a lot of people here today who have been working on this project for years. One of the groups that really got the project rolling was the Neponset River Watershed Association. They're our local watershed association, and they're here today with us. We have the Department of Ecological Restoration, which really specializes in dam removals, and in addition to providing some of the funding, has been providing expertise. We have the engineers who are supervising, and of course Flynn Construction, our contractor, has been a really amazing partner throughout. Our main funder for the construction has been MVP, the Municipal Vulnerability Program, which is a state grant that the Baker administration started, and they're interested in funding climate adaptation and resiliency projects.
Ian Cook, Executive Director of the Neponset River Watershed Association, explains the importance of removing this dam and how this area in particular is vital to local trout population.
You know, Trap Hole Brook is a very special waterway. You know, it's sort of funny. It is arguably the best remaining trout stream in eastern Massachusetts. And you know, you wouldn't think like, hey, where should I go look for the best trout stream in eastern Massachusetts? Like, let's look in Norwood. That's where the best trout stream in the eastern part of the state must be. But nonetheless, here it is. And because it is so kind of unique and valuable, we've been focused on trying to clean it up and protect it over the years. And you know, one of the things that definitely has an impact on streams and the health of streams and fish, and particularly fish like trout that are very sensitive to temperature, is dams. And a number of years ago, we sort of did a survey of the stream, looking for opportunities to improve it. And one of the things that came up with was the dam. And to be frank, you know, normally where there's an opportunity to restore a stream by removing a dam and removing a pond, and there are homeowners nearby, oftentimes the homeowners, they don't get excited about that. They're not excited about change. So we said, this will probably never work, but let's go talk to the neighbors and see what they think, see if they realize what a great resource they have in their backyard. And the neighbors are just a wonderful bunch, and they were incredibly enthusiastic about the opportunity to restore the stream, much to our surprise. And that really started what turned out to be about a 3-year process of doing planning and design and permitting and fundraising to get us to where we are today, where we're finally implementing it.
The library is collecting donations for pajamas for families in need. Library Director Clayton Cheever shares more.
This year we're asking everybody to make their contributions online. There's a simple QR code. You can take your phone, just like we've been doing in restaurants for the last 2 years, eons it feels like, and make a contribution there. That's the best way that we can support families to enjoy a great book in comfortable pajamas.
To participate, please use the QR code shown here. All donations will benefit families by way of 2 local nonprofits, Cradles to Crayons and the Wonder Fund. And now we're going to toss it over to Miles Kidd with the latest in school news.
Hi guys, I'm Miles Kidd, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. We have reached the 100th day of school, and it was celebrated throughout the district. The Prescott School celebrated the 100th day of school with excitement and optimism. In 2nd grade, they celebrated the 100th day of school with activities about the number 100. They did lots of exercising and moving. In math, they played Race to $1, Make 100, 100 chart puzzles, and 100 chart drawings. During literacy, they read stories about the 100th day of school and completed stations. Their activities included writing 100 rhyming words, writing about what they will do when we are 100, and what they would do with $100. They also completed some activities on Seesaw about the number 100. The students read poems about 100th day of school to practice fluency. Also, their 5th graders showcased their creative talents by drawing pictures with the digits 100 in them. As you can see from the pictures, the students took this project very seriously and did an amazing job. Teachers and staff are currently voting on the most creative project, and they'll be announcing it later this week during their morning announcements. If you ask any student at the Cleveland School, there are over 100 ways to celebrate the 100th day of school, including skip counting, cup stacking, and visits from our centennial citizens. In another activity, students made discoveries on their own. In the 4th grade PLC classroom, students had to put science and math together to solve their question: how do you create a tower with cups while keeping all the cups in the correct sequential order? Discussion, discovery, and perseverance helped these students successfully complete their challenge. After finding success, what is the best way to celebrate? Demolition, of course. Great job, guys. In the Oldham School, they had our 100th day of fun. Mrs. Menning's 3rd grade class was getting creative and made designs with 100 different objects. Plus, they had some fun thinking about the number 100. The Balch School PTO and the Norwood Cultural Council worked together to provide a wonderful enrichment experience for the Balch students. Motoko, an award-winning Japanese storyteller and origami artist, visited the classrooms virtually through Google Meets. Her first presentation of the day was with students in grades 1 through 3, where she sang a few songs and told them both an original story and Japanese folktales. Then she met with the 5th graders and shared her talent with origami and taught the students to make 3 different shapes: a rabbit, a person, and a fortune teller. The students loved following her directions and listening to her, as the original square piece of paper they all started out with was transformed into the shape simply by folding it in different ways. Finally, Motoko shared more stories with our 4th and 5th grade students in the afternoon. This is an interesting way to experience some of the Japanese culture and ancient craft. Also at the Balch, 4th graders are exploring how energy is stored, released, and transferred by making small chain reactions. In Miss Davis's class, students use paper ramps, cups, marbles, rulers, markers, and rubber bands to create the chain reaction. And to celebrate 100 days, 1st graders in Mrs. Duffy's classroom at the Balch took to the skies. Students were asked to find a solution to the question: if you were given 100 cups, what is the tallest tower you could create? Students worked through the scientific method, discuss, create, redesign, in small groups to determine just that. When one design collapsed, students worked together to find a design that worked. Great job by all the groups. At the Callahan School, Mrs. Cabral's 4th grade class just finished their realistic fiction writing pieces. Students got to think of their own characters, plot, and moral of the story. Some of the morals that students wrote about were: what happens in the dark always comes to light. The more expensive thing is not always better. Respect animals, and try to be friends with someone before you decide that you don't like them. Students enjoyed presenting their writing pieces in front of the class, and they also enjoyed listening to what their peers had been working on for the past 6 weeks. Thank you to the staff who were able to come and celebrate with us. Also, the Callahans celebrated the number 2, and now they are celebrating the number 100 in honor of the 100th day of school. Grade 3 created t-shirts with the math equation equaling 100, and they sent 100 thank you notes to friends, family members, as well as those in nursing homes. The grade 1 students counted 100 steps and placed a sneaker at the spot. In physical education, students dribbled the basketball 100 times. A school-wide community service project challenged each grade to bring 100 non-perishable items that will be donated to the Norwood Food Pantry. We're happy to say that they're exceeding their goal. Grade 4 and 5 students counted and tallied all of the donations. In art, you can see that students celebrated 100 days of getting their cray on. And finally, in Norwood High School news, the class of 2022 met this week to receive updates on all important spring events and deadlines. The most important one of all is graduation, and this year it'll be held on Sunday, June 5th. Well, that's it for school news. There's something interesting happening in our classrooms and schools every day, and thanks to all the educators who shared the news with us. Now let's go to Mike Maloof with the latest in sports.
Hello and welcome to the Sports Update. Masks are officially off for NHS athletes and athletes around the state. Late last week, the MIAA voted to remain consistent with DESE's mask-required update. Beginning February 28th, the MIAA mask-wearing protocols will end, and moving forward, the sports will adhere to host school and venue-specific restrictions. Last weekend, the wrestling team competed in a D3 Central Sectional Championships, and we had some great performances. Coleman Cady won the 138-pound weight class, and Nate Sue won the 145-pound weight class. Rounding out the rest of the team, TJ Wyman placed 4th in the 220 pounds, Tim Lee 5th in 126 pounds, Jaquise McIvory 5th in the 152 pound, and Ahmed Alalfari 5th in the 195-pound weight class. Great job by all the guys, and a huge congrats to Coleman and Nate on being D3 sectional champions. Wednesday, the track team made the trip to the Reggie Lewis Center for the D3 state championships. Norwood had 8 representatives over 12 events. Isaiah Groupie led the way for the Mustangs with a 4th place finish in the 300. Jacob Zhang ran a PR of 8.28 seconds and placed 5th in the 55. Matt Alves finished 6th in the shot put, and Tina Fontaine finished 8th in the 55. Congrats to the boys and girls track athletes on an outstanding year. Earlier this week, the Massachusetts High School gymnastics coaches picked the all-around qualifiers for next Monday's state individual championships, and the Mustangs had 2 gymnasts qualify. Freshman Shay Larkey qualified 2nd overall in the South Division with a score of 37.76, which was less than a half a point behind the top qualifier. Senior captain Marion Pastor qualified 12th in the South with a score of 36.45. Pastor was less than 2 points off the lead. Great work, girls, and good luck in the championships. It was a tough week for the girls' ice hockey team, dropping 2 out of 3 games. First came at the hands of Medway Ashland in a 6-0 loss, and then a 3-1 loss to King Philip. The lone win of the week was a scoring explosion in a 7-4 win over Franklin. The girls were led by a hat trick from Morgan Roach. Boys hockey had 2 convincing wins this week. Saturday, the Mustangs took care of business against Medfield, winning 6-1. They were led by a 2-goal performance by Miles Kidd, and Anthony Riccardi netted his first varsity goal. With that win, they earned the TVL large title. Then, later in the week, they hit the road to Loring Arena to take on Holliston. The boys scored on the first shift of the game and never looked back, winning 6-1. Brian Mateer had a hat trick in the win. Boys basketball held the senior night last Friday, and what a game it was. It was back and forth for most of the game until Norwood found themselves down 3 points with under a minute. After a few missed free throws by Medfield, Norwood had the opportunity to tie the game in the final moments. Let's take a listen to the call.
Go pull up for a 3, hope to get fouled.
Shoot it, shoot it.
Oh!
That was no one
Get
but
back,
that right
get
there.
back!
We had the opportunity to catch up with Coach McDonald and Noah Bodette after the game.
Yeah, just battle of 2 really good teams. We knew they were coming in ready to take it at us. They're very talented, very big. They're well coached, so we had to match their intensity. And senior night, you never know how emotions are going to go with our guys, but we're just so happy to get the win for them. I thought every time they went on a little run, we were able to combat it with our own little run, which was nice, and just some big plays at the end. I mean, Noah Bodette is ridiculous, and I'm gonna pretend that I drew it up like that, but I absolutely did not. So just a lot of credit to him, and finding the bottom of the net no matter what we draw up he's incredible.
We knew it was a tough team. Last time we only won by 2, so coming into it, we know we had to be focused. It's senior night, so they want to beat us really bad. So they're a big team, so we had to play big because we're smaller, and we're the tougher team than it.
With the win over Medfield, the boys basketball team also clinched the TVL large. The boys followed the huge win with 2 more wins and a back-to-back against Holliston, the first being 56-31 and the second being 80-26 win. And finally, the girls basketball team almost had its first blemish of the year at the hands of Medfield, but the girls stayed resilient and snuck out the 44-41 win. With that win, they were the third team to clinch the TVL large title. Then it was back home against Hopkinton where the girls came away with the 64-40 win. And in their final home game of the season, the girls hosted senior night and took care of Holliston. The team honored their 7 seniors on the roster and they ended up winning by a score of 66-24. We will end this week's sports update with an update on the state power rankings. These were the rankings released as of Thursday. Girls hockey drops another spot, moving from 10 to 11. Boys hockey stays put, sitting at number 6. Boys basketball moves up 1 spot, moving from number 7 to now number 6. And girls basketball remains at the top, sitting at number 1 in Division 2. Well, that's all for sports this week. Make sure to watch the bulletin board channel or check out our social media pages for upcoming broadcast times. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. Monday night, the planning board met with attorney Brian Almeida to discuss a car storage lot at 596 Boston Providence Highway, which was the former site of Cap World, where cars merge onto Route 1 North. Chairman Sheehan expressed that he would not be happy with a car storage lot at that location. The board discussed bringing the matter before Town Council. Residents of the area also voiced their concerns with this project. The project has been continued to a future meeting. The next planning board meeting will be February 28th. Tuesday morning, the Board of Health met at the Senior Center and began their meeting by introducing Connor Bronson, Regional Public Health Associate and Contact Tracer. Then the board went on to discuss the FY23 budget requests. During old business, the board heard reports from the public health nurse, Impact Norwood, and the Mental Health Awareness Program. Also, the regional epidemiologist provided a COVID-19 update and the community health needs and assessment plan. During the director's report, Segal Reese provided a transition update, and the board ended the meeting with the new director's search. The next meeting for the Board of Health will be March 15th. The Middle School Building Committee hosted a presentation for the seniors of Norwood on Tuesday. Employees of Compass Project Management and AI3, along with committee members, walked through the PowerPoint presentation and then showed a brief video showing what the future new middle school could look like. To end, the committee fielded questions from the seniors. To learn more about this project, visit www.newcmsproject.org. Norwood's energy manager, David Ruggiero, appeared at the Board of Selectmen Tuesday night. Mr. Ruggiero presented information on future plans to keep Norwood green. The proposed new middle school, while it will be bigger than its current counterpart, it will be about 30% more energy efficient.
Common box of kitchen matches, 250. If we brought in 96 trillion matches in these boxes, you could fill this room not once, not twice, but 500 times. And our commitment is to reduce that number to 400 times, 20% reduction. So a lot of energy and a lot of work to do. We can see that we track energy use by sectors, by buildings, open spaces, street lights, so we know where the energy is going. We also track by the types of fuel, diesel fuel, electricity, natural gas, every type of fuel that the municipality uses is recorded there. We can get cost data and finally carbon emissions data, all through the Green Communities program, all through the Green Communities platform. So Tony, when you hired me, you said, give it a year. It'll be exciting. It'll be tough for the first year, and that was before COVID. So it took about 2 years, but it's really exciting now.
Wednesday night, the Community Preservation Committee began their meeting by reviewing their fund reserve and made estimates for the FY 2023 fund availability. Later in the meeting, the committee discussed their consideration of FY 2023 CPA applications and voted on recommendations to the annual town meeting. They ended the meeting with other business. Their next meeting will be on March 2nd. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news. Welcome back. Monday was the first day to submit applications for the Rec Department's summer jobs. For more on what jobs are open and how to apply, we toss it down to Katie Seastead and Sam White.
Hi guys, Katie Seastead here.
And Sam White.
From the Norwood Recreation Department, talking about summer employment opportunities. I'm really quickly just going to talk about our pools. We're looking for lifeguards, water safety instructors. We're also looking for pool maintenance as well as pool tag checkers. So right now, those applications are available online or at the Civic Center. So come by, look for this, or ask for a application. And Sam's going to talk about our camp counselors.
That's right, that's right. We're looking for 16-year-olds who are energetic, fun-loving, love to be outside working with kids. We also have this application that is out right now. You can pick it up from the rec department or you can find it online and drop it off by April 1st. We'd love to see you this summer.
Yeah, so if you're looking for fun, you love to make money, come down to the Civic Center, be part of our team this summer. We really look forward to seeing new faces as well as employees that have worked for us in the past. We look forward to seeing you and can't wait for you to join our team this summer. Thank you.
See you soon.
Teens and young adults out there, make sure not to miss out on a great summer employment opportunity. Monday was the last day to submit your candidacy papers to run for local office in the upcoming town election on April 4th. There were openings on a number of boards and committees, but only 2 will have contested races. There will be 2 seats open for a 3-year term on the selectmen. There are 3 candidates running for the 2 seats, and they are as follows: Alan Howard, Robert Donnelly, and Amanda Groh. There are also 2 seats for a 3-year term open on the school committee. There are 5 candidates running for those 2 seats, and they are as follows: Joan Giblin, Michael Condon, Kathleen Sibling-Dunn, Tyler Joseph Torville, and Mark Hooley. These races will remain unofficial until the candidate withdrawal date of March 2nd. A reminder also to residents that voter registration deadline is Tuesday, March 15th, 2022. Absentee ballot applications are available on the Town of Norwood website under the Town Clerk section. Just a reminder to residents that tickets for Norwood's 150th celebration at the Skating Club are still available.
Good morning. My name is Jerry Miller. I'm with the steering committee of the Norwood 150th anniversary. We're coming here today to talk about the skating event, which is coming on February 26th. And I'm here with Ernie Petrikowski, who's the co-chair of the skating event program, and Doug, who's the executive director of the Skating Club of Boston.
So for the club, this is a win-win because we would love to have the town of Norwood come in, see our skaters perform to their best in a sort of a kickback atmosphere that's a lot of fun for them because they won't be competing. So every skater that you'll see on the 26th trains here at the Skating Club of Boston. Some have grown up here. One in particular, Max Nomoff, is a Norwood resident, and others have relocated here from around the country since we opened our doors. There'll be team skating with synchronized skating and theater on ice. There'll be a lot of single skating with women and men, a couple of pair teams. We have some championship pair teams. They just came back from Tallinn, Estonia. One of our teams won the event, and our other team was second.
At intermission, it'll almost be 50 years to the day that the Norwood High School Mustang hockey team won the Massachusetts State Hockey Championship. So after intermission, we are going to be honoring that team on their 50th anniversary of that great accomplishment. And we'll also be recognizing the Norwood Nuggets program, which is the feeder system for the high school hockey teams. They're celebrating their 60th birthday. So gates are going to open at 4. The show will start at 6. You'll be out of here by 8:30. So this is a real family-friendly event. We want to make it affordable. And the skating club has been so great. Every dime that is going to be taken in is going to go to the 150th celebration to support other events we're going to have throughout the year.
Just an aside, just to let you know where the tickets can be purchased. They can be purchased at the Town Hall, the library, the Senior Center, and the Civic Center. And it's still only $10. If you happen to have not made up your mind yet on the day of the show on the 26th, the tickets will be available here at the skating club, but they'll be $15 at that point.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.